tutok sa kaayuhan ug kamatuoran. Kredibilidad mao'y gibarugan. Ang bagong yugto ng ating himpilan, ang Sunshine Radio, ay SMNI Radio na. Patuloy kaming magbibigay ng mga balita, impormasyon, serbisyo at inspirasyon para sa Diyos at sa Pilipinas nating mahal. Ang SMNI Radio ay magsisilbing totoong boses ng bayan at maaasahan sa panahon ng pangangailangan. Handa ang SMNI Radio na maging kasama sa bawat yugto ng buhay ng mga Pilipino. Inyong maaasahan na patuloy na magsusulong ang SMNI Radio ng pagbabago at pag-unlad. Asahan ang mas pinaigting at mas pinagandang mga programa na ihahatid ng SMNI Radio. Hindi rin mawawala ang mga programang magbibigay inspirasyon at pananampalataya natin sa makapangyarihang Ama sa pamamagitan ng kanyang hinirang na anak, Pastor Apollo C. Kibuloy. Tuloy-tuloy sa pagkikinig at panonood dahil sa SMNI Radio, araw-araw kami magsisilbi sa inyo. Maraming salamat sa inyong patuloy na pagtitiwala.
Serbisyong Kapartner ng Bayan. Kapartner ng Bayan. Ania ang tulamanong mo paila sa lain-laing ahensya, organisasyon, personalidad o individual nga andamugahin sa ilang serbisyong Kapartner ng Bayan. Atong sayron ang mataglaka nga nabuhat na ug angay pangbuhaton alang sa ikauswag sa matag komunidad ug sa nasod sa kinatibuk-an. Serbisyong Kapartner ng Bayan. Aniya na ang atong kapartner nga makauban karon.
Good afternoon mga partners. Welcome sa itong programang Serbisyong Kapartner ng Bayan. Tarungan sana akong buhok. Kumusta mga partners? Mayong hapon, no? Welcome sa itong programang Serbisyong Kapartner ng Bayan. Kamu namin sa itong CBN ng DYAR, SMNI Radio Cebu. O kini hagala ka partner Jimrey, Biosa. O nang hinautang nga maayo ang ato ang kahaponon karon, no? Medyo dili stable ang atong panahon. Na mga say pag-ulan, na say wala pa ulan, no? O syempre, expected naman yun na kay rainy season mga partners. Same time na paghihulga sa El Nino mo nang mag-amping kita kanunay mga partners sa ato ang mga adlaw-adlaw na itong mga paglakaw, no? Unsa ba itong ginabuhat karon mga partners. Shout out sa automatic paminawan, tibuok probinsya sa Cebu, mga partners nato sa Bohol, sa Central Visayas, o kinitibok ang asaman nangabot sa itong signal sa online mga partners worldwide. Maayong buntag, maayong hapon, maayong gabi, kung asaman ko mo karon mga partners. O syempre, usa na pud ka productive episode, no, atong i-share kaninyo mga partners, no, kay karong semana gi-celebrar, no, sa Department of Science and Technology ang ilahang ginatawag na ilang aktibidad na Science and Technology Week, no? National Science and Technology Week karong starting, no? July 13 hangtod 15 mga partners sa 3-day activity sa DOST mga partners, no, nga adunay tema kining Regional Science, Technology and Innovation Week mga partners, no. Adunay tema nga siyensa, teknolohiya at inobasyon kabalikat sa matatag, maginhawa at panatag na kinabukasan, no. Aduna po sila sub-theme na Science and Technology and Digital Innovation driving food security, sustainable energy and national resilience. So unsa kini mga partners, no? The 3-day event nga gipigayon sa Department of Science and Technology. Shout out kay Director Tristan Abando, no? O syempre ang ilang mga kaubanan si ARD, si Ma'am Bayan, no? O uban pang mga families sa DOST kanunay gyud nga nagatabang, no, sa mga sa media, labi na sa mga media concern. Sa episode nato karon mga partners, no, og atong paminawon kay sa mga programa, no, kay fortunate pod nga naka-attend ta, no, sa ilang opening. Salamat kay sa DOST kay nahatagan taghigayon na masaksihan, no, kining opening sa Regional Science and Technology Innovation Week. Ang ilahang guest keynote speaker ang walay lain ang ilahang secretary, si Secretary Renato Solidum Jr., no. Ang ang former PHIVOX chief, mga kapartners. No, karon secretary na gyud siya sa DOST. So ania siya sa Cebu aron ipahatag pud ang mensahe ang iyahang tumong nganong kining giselebrar nato ning Regional Science and Technology Innovation Week. Nahitabo ni sa waterfront, mga kapartners, no? Paminaw nato ang mensahe ni Dr. Tristan Abando, mga kapartners, ang Regional Director sa DOST. Sunod-sunod nato niya o mensahe pod ni Secretary Renato Solidum Jr., ang Secretary sa DOST. O paminawon sa nato, no, kay for the very first time, congratulations Mayor Thadeo Jonkie Ouano, no, ang Mandaue City Mayor nato. Kay ang for the very first time daw, no, sa highly urbanized city diri sa Visayas, first time nga adunay si tawag ni smart city diri sa Visayas, no. Walay lain ang Mandaue City, mga kapartners. Official na, no, nga official nga gilusad na, no, with the presence of Secretary sa DOST, Secretary Renato Solidum, mga kapartners. O na po yung mensahe si Mayor Thadeo Jonkie Ouano, mga kapartners, no. O ato nang paminawon, mga kapartners. Sunod na, so syempre ato dugayon para mabala na to ang ilang mga mensahe, mga kapartners.
Mayong buntag, so I love the energy. It is a great pleasure to welcome all of you to the 2026 Regional Science, Technology, and Innovation Week, or RSTW, here in Central Visayas. Looking around this hall, we see more than guests attending the program. We see the people and institutions that make innovation happen in our region, Central Visayas. We only have 2 provinces left, Cebu and Bohol. That's why we call ourselves Cebuhol or Subbohol. In this room are government leaders who help create an environment where new ideas can grow, businesses that turn technologies into jobs and opportunities, universities and research institutions that develop solutions, local governments that bring these solutions closer to the communities, and innovators and young people who continue to challenge us to move forward. And this is why RSTW is not simply a DOST event. It is the event of the entire Central Visayas science, technology, and innovation ecosystem. Amen? Amen. It is our shared celebration. It celebrates the partnerships we have built, the trust we have developed, and our growing willingness to work beyond the boundaries of our respective institutions. Today, government agencies are aligning programs, more than harmonizing, or maybe the same. Researchers are working more closely with industry. Local governments are becoming active partners in innovation. Chambers of commerce are helping connect science, technology with the actual needs of enterprises. Startups and young innovators are bringing fresh energy and bold ideas into our region. And many of these collaborations begin simply with one conversation, one shared concern, one cup of coffee, or one institution reaching out to one another. But when we nurture these connections, they grow into programs, technologies, enterprises, and solutions that make a real difference in people's lives. And that is the spirit of the celebration this week in our RSTW. Our theme, Siyensya, Teknolohiya at Inobasyon, kabalikat sa matatag, maginhawa at panatag na kinabukasan, and our sub-theme on food security, sustainable energy, and national resilience give direction to this gathering. Over the next 3 days, we will see technologies, hear new ideas, launch important initiatives, and recognize the creativity of our innovators and young people. But more than the exhibits and conferences, I hope we use this occasion to reconnect with our old partners. Grabe sa old, no? And meet with new ones and discover where we can work together next. To all our partners here, daghang salamat and thank you for making RSTW what it is today. Every organization represented here has contributed in one way or another to the continuing growth of our regional innovation community. Allow me to also express our sincere gratitude to our DOST leadership, to Secretary Renato Solidum Jr. Thank you for your leadership and for continually reminding us that science, technology, and innovation must be felt in everyday lives of our people. Ika nga ni Secretary, agham naramdam. To Yusek Sancho Maborang, thank you for your guidance and steadfast support to our regional offices and regional innovation ecosystem. And to ASEC Mata, thank you for your continued leadership in advancing countryside development. And we are deeply honored to have all of you with us today. And as we begin this celebration, let us remember the words of Helen Keller. Alone, we can do so little. Together, we can do so much. And that line captures what RSTW in Central Visayas is all about. Our strength is not found in any one agency, institution, or sector. Our strength is found in what we can accomplish together. So on behalf of DOST Central Visayas and all our partners in the regional STI ecosystem, welcome to the 2026 Regional Science, Technology, and Innovation Week. Many of these 3 days lead us to stronger partnerships, practical solutions, and new possibilities for Central Visayas. Daghang salamat, mayong buntag o malipayong pagsaulog sa RSTW 2026.
Let me start my message with a question. Anong klaseng Pilipinas ang nais nating mabuo? Anong klaseng rehiyon ang gusto nating mabuo? Anong klaseng Cebu ang gusto nating mabuo? What kind of Philippines do we want to shape? Alam niyo po ba, if you want to experience a beautiful future, you must create the future you want. At alam ko naman po, ang mga taga Cebu ay Ceburista. Ulitin ko, Cebuan yung sigurista, ang tawag ko dun ay Ceburista. The pathway for the better future that you want is through science, technology, and innovation. Do we want a country that simply buys technologies created by others? Or a country that can design, build, and produce its own? Do we want regions that wait for opportunities to arrive, or regions that actively create new industries, new enterprises, and new livelihoods? Do we want a nation that merely reacts to disruptions after they happen, or one that anticipates change, prepares early, and acts with absolute confidence? Those questions justifies our sub-theme for this year's Regional Science and Technology Week. Driving food security, sustainable energy, and national resilience. I was just informed by the good administrator of Cebu that Cebu had the highest inflation compared to many other provinces or regions in the country. And one of the causes of inflation all over the country would be food. Next is energy. And addressing food security and addressing energy security goes a long way towards our national resilience. So the questions that I asked are questions that need to be addressed by everyone. These are not questions for the government alone. They are questions for every Filipino who yearns a prosperous, resilient nation. Our answers will determine whether the future we long for remains a pipe dream or becomes our reality. This is the deeper purpose of the 2026 Regional Science, Technology, and Innovation Week here in Central Visayas. Hindi lamang ito pagdiriwang ng mga bagong teknolohiya at mga bunga ng pagsasaliksik. This is our opportunity to make science real, tangible, and impactful to the daily lives of ordinary Filipinos. Whether you're in the provincial government, national government, private sector, or even churches, there are three things that we all want to do. Very important things that we need to implement so that we can progress. We can help more people, more communities to be transformed. The first is, we must be proactive. Di pwedeng maghintay ka lang ng lalapit sa'yo. Second, we must pursue. Hanapin mo yung dapat tulungan. Hindi pwedeng maghintay ka lang ng tutulungan. And that is what we want. We need to pursue collaborative relationship with our local government, with the private sector, with the communities and individuals. And more importantly, our goal is to transform people's lives, transform communities for good governance so that we can benefit ang ating pangarap na matatag, maginhawa at panatag na buhay. To guide our efforts towards this, our Regional Science and Technology Week celebration is anchored on the three-horizon Science, Technology, and Innovation Strategy for Economic Development. This framework allows us to address immediate needs today without losing sight of tomorrow. May mga problemang kailangang tugunan ngayon. Nabanggit na natin, food security, health problem, disaster resilience. May mga kakayahang kailangang hubugin para sa susunod na mga taon. Ang problema sa langis ay nandyan. Kailangan na tayong magbago towards electric vehicle utilization. May mga pagbabagong kailangang simulan ngayon kahit ang buong benepisyo ay mararamdaman pa sa susunod na henerasyon. So the three horizons are the following. The first horizon is about strengthening the productivity and efficiency of the micro, small, and medium enterprises we already have. The second horizon is about building a Filipino knowledge economy. Most of the richness that we have, most of the wealth that we create comes after adding value to the natural resources, to the harvest that we get both from land and water. But we need to scale up our knowledge economy. Magagaling ang mga Pilipino, but we need to build the infrastructure for that knowledge economy to flourish. We need to create an economy, improve commercialization, help startups to secure funding, strategic partners, and more importantly, open opportunities. The third horizon is preparing the industries, systems, and communities that our future will require, including artificial intelligence. These horizons are not separate lanes or slow, step-by-step pathways. They must move simultaneously. While we help an MSME streamline its production today, we must also build the research ecosystem that will birth tomorrow's technologies. Horizon 1 tackles a practical national challenge. How do we make Filipino enterprises globally competitive right now? MSMEs make up more than 99% of all business establishments in the Philippines and employ two-thirds of our entire workforce. Yet, they face systemic bottlenecks. Through the Department of Science and Technology, we are breaking down these barriers in very practical ways. Kapag mabagal ang produksyon, tumataas ang gastos. Kaya nagtayo po tayo ng advanced manufacturing centers. Ibig po sabihin, additive manufacturing, 3D printing facility where we can print plastics, ceramics, iron, and soon concrete. Sa pangunguna ng DOST Metals Industry and Development Center and all DOST regional offices, we have established advanced manufacturing center hubs so that we can develop prototypes out of the bright ideas of anyone. But if you need advanced printing facilities, then you can send the design so that we can print it in the Advanced Manufacturing Center, one of the most modern among ASEAN countries, at DOST in Bicutan. Kapag hindi para-pareho ang kalidad ng produkto, nawawala ang tiwala ng mamimili. Nandyan po ang DOST Industrial Technology Development Institute, kasama po ang regional and provincial offices para matulungan mag-improve ang mga produkto, lalong-lalo na sa packaging, shelf life, at magandang kalidad ng mga produkto para pwedeng ibenta hindi lang sa Pilipinas, pati na rin sa ibang bansa. Kapag kulang ang testing at certification, hindi mapapasok ang produkto sa mas malalaking merkado. Mayroon pong One Lab Network ang DOST, composed of DOST laboratories, private laboratories, and even international laboratories, so that we can address your testing needs. Isinusulong din po natin sa Kongreso ang pagsasabatas ng National Measurement Institute upang mag-set up ng mga standards na susundan sa buong Pilipinas at mag-calibrate ng mga machines o ng mga makina para tama ang mga resultang ibibigay sa inyo. This provides the foundation for trustworthy measurements which support fair trade, quality assurance, scientific progress, public safety, and economic development. Kapag hindi naman sapat ang teknolohiya, hindi matatanggap ng negosyo ang mas malalaking order. Kaya mahalaga po ang pag-scale up at pag-consolidate ng ating mga produkto. Kaya nga magkakaroon po tayo ng smart factory approach in engaging MSMEs one-on-one. If they're interested, we can send a group of people to serve as consultants to find out how artificial intelligence, robotics, automation, mechanization, and other smart technologies can scale your productivity. Kaya lang, pagdating naman po sa karamihan ng MSME, kulang po o minsan hindi nila alam saan kukunin ang mga raw materials na pupunta sa MSME. Kaya nga po, gumawa po tayo sa DOST ng Geospatial Analytics and Technology Solutions Platform o GATES program. Lahat po ng datos ng DOST, kasama mga partner organization, digitize ang data based on a geographic information system, and this is the fuel of the use of artificial intelligence, merging geospatial analytics and AI to really find out the best logistics, the best place where we can situate our raw material production for an MSME. Napakarami pong tulong yan. And that is why in this conference, the Smart MSME Conference that we will organize is very critical. Digital transformation is not only a race to buy the most expensive machine. It starts with understanding the problem and adopting the right technology at the right scale. Importante po, malaman natin ano talaga yung problema para makabuo tayo ng akma o tamang solusyon sa mga problemang yon. Ika nga, we are providing the real-world solution to a real-world problem. Pero walang iisang landas para sa lahat. Kaya one-on-one po ang ating approach. Every enterprise deserves a realistic path toward improvement. If we only adopt foreign technologies, we will always be chasing the future rather than shaping it. Wala naman problema to adopt technology. That is what we call technology transfer. But in the Philippines, and we hope that our private sector would really embrace this advocacy, we need to push for domestic innovation so that we can lower the price of the technologies that we need for your industry. This now brings me to the next horizon, Horizon 2, building the Filipino knowledge economy. Ang kaalaman ay may halaga lamang kapag nagagamit. Sabi nga ni Albert Einstein na ang pinakasikat na statement ay E equals MC squared. Sa akin, hindi masyadong importante yon kasi ang sinabi niya ay imagination is more important than knowledge. Ibig sabihin, kung hindi mo gagamitin ang iyong talino o kaalaman sa bagay na makakagawa ka ng mapapakinabangang teknolohiya o innovation, produkto o sistema, hindi masyadong mahalaga ang kaalaman. Ang kaalaman mahalaga kapag nagagamit. Research gains true meaning when it improves a product, secures a community, or births a new enterprise. The Philippines does not lack talent. Kung kinantabo nyo ang bagong Pilipinas SIM, napakaganda ng mga katagang na ilagay doon. Maraman tayo sa talento. We have brilliant scientists, engineers, and entrepreneurs. However, a gap remains in translating laboratory research into real-world applications. Horizon 2 is about closing that gap. We must connect research directly to the industry needs. Kailangan magtagpo ang kaalaman at pangangailangan. This is where startups come in. Startups move agilely, flexible, turning ideas into market-ready solutions. Ang kailangan, mag-usap ang mga researcher, scientista, and entrepreneur. Hindi pwedeng kanya-kanya. Through this week's networking and commercialization events, we are connecting our local innovators with the funding, corporate partnerships, and strategic opportunities they need to scale. Kailangan magtagpo ang kaalaman, pangangailangan, puhunan, at oportunidad. Finally, Horizon 3 compels us to look over the crest of tomorrow. Kailangan tumingin tayo. Dapat hindi po malayo ang tingin na walang tinatanaw. Kanta po yun nung panahon ko. Dapat malayo ang tingin pero meron tayong tinatanaw na target. What industries must we build now? What skills our workers need? How do we prepare for shifts in climate, energy, and digital technology like artificial intelligence? Okay? Kasi yung AI po dati, ginagamit ng mga agriculturists yan. Sa artificial insemination po yung AI dati. Ayun, intelligence. But in 2025, the Department of Science and Technology launched the Elevate Philippines for Economic Development. These are 8 big R&D programs that we thought will be the programs that almost all country will implement in the very near future. Artificial intelligence, data analytics, quantum technology or quantum computing, Industry 4.0 approach, meaning robotics, mechanization, AI, smart agriculture, smart technologies to help local government, to help in building resilience, health security, circular economy. We don't let our waste just go to waste. Ang ginagawa po natin, we should look at waste as money and biologics in pharmaceutical or biotechnology. Circular economy will include green minerals and renewable energy. Yung 8 po ay napaka-importante. At ako po'y natutuwa. Ang bansang Vietnam nag-announce ng kanilang strategy din just recently. Ilan sa NASA, 8 big programs natin kasama, ganun din po ang ibang bansa within the ASEAN region. So we have those programs, but we need to make sure that we all work together. So the Future Ready Central Visayas Conference would focus on this future. Ulitin ko, the future that we want for all of us to build. Gusto niyo po ba yon mangyari? Ulitin ko, dahil gusto niyo mangyari at kayo mga taga Cebu ay sigurista, gawin nating Ceburista ang inyong mga operation using science, technology, and innovation. The future cannot be built with a single piece of equipment or an organization. It requires sustainable, interconnected systems. So these horizons demand that we think talent development, especially in the age of artificial intelligence. AI is revolutionizing how we work, but it can also deepen economic inequality if access and skills are restricted. That is why in the National AI Strategy that we help lead in the development, we focus on human-centered artificial intelligence application to improve our skills so that we can scale up our production and address many of our problems. Our goal is very clear. We must develop local capacity to govern and create AI systems that respond to Philippine realities. AI must remain accountable to our people and aligned with Filipino values. That is why we have established the National AI Center for Research and Innovation, where we will increase our compute power and help skill up Filipinos and provide AI as a service to our MSME. Nonetheless, we are also developing an AI program that is decentralized and democratized. We allow our regional and provincial offices to work with the local government and local industry to also develop their own AI roadmap, particular to their own region's needs. Of course, the compute power is not very high, but you can develop your own. And if you need a higher computing power, you can use the National AI Center for Research and Innovation. Why is it very important for Central Visayas to focus on the industries of the future? It is uniquely positioned to show the rest of the country how this national strategy comes alive in a region. The Smart and Sustainable Communities Roadmap shows how LGUs can use data to drive real-world development. The Drone CV Industry Development Action Plan bridges technical skills, local regulation, and public service applications in an emerging sector. Yusek Sancho and I were just in General Santos yesterday. Isang balikan lang kami. And we talked to the Office of Civil Defense. In Sarangani Province, many of the roads are along the coast. And if these are affected by landslides, many communities inland are trapped without supply for their rescue, for food, for water. You cannot just use helicopters because helicopters are not that too many, and they also respond to search and rescue if there are ongoing disaster events. We need drone technology to carry this vital supply, food and water, to our kababayans. The Science Discovery Center will ensure that the next generation of Cebuanos grows up loving and understanding the power of science. Dito nasusukat ang tunay na halaga ng agham. These are not isolated projects. Pinag-isipan po ito. And it is very good that the academe and the private sector are very much involved in these efforts, because they will be the building blocks of an innovation ecosystem felt by every citizen. Ultimately, the Three Horizons strategy is an expression of a national confidence. It teaches us to act with urgency today without becoming short-sighted about tomorrow. Yes, we will address the pressing needs of today, but we also need to work on what is needed in the immediate and distant future. Our national vision must remain connected to the realities of the Filipino people. The entrepreneurs trying to sustain a business, the farmer seeking a fair market, the worker learning new skills, the commuter needing reliable transport, the family needing safe water, the health professional needing better tools, and the community preparing for the next hazard. All of those are addressable by science, technology, and innovation. And that is what I call agham na dapat ramdam. Science that is felt, and that is by using science, technology, and innovation to address the real needs of our kababayans. But at the same time, we must create the conditions for future generations to inherit a country that produces more of its own technologies, manages resources wisely, builds competitive industries, and protects people from avoidable risk. That is where exactly Cebu is situated. Your land is not so big, mountain and flat land. You need to produce more by having a better way of developing agriculture as an industry, smart agriculture. And we have a program for that for every province. We need to build competitive industries together with the private sector. and we need to protect people from avoidable risks. I commiserate to the families, the victims, and of course, mga kababayan natin po sa Cebu na naapektuhan ng lindol at sumunod yung bagyo. Yan po ay pwedeng maiwasan, and we can better prepare now with science, technology, and innovation. So ladies and gentlemen, let the 2026 Regional Science and Technology Week here in Central Visayas show that productivity, knowledge creation, and future readiness are parts of one national journey. Pareho po ang problema natin across all regions. Magkakaiba lang ng konti ang konteksto, but the same formula. And one good thing, there are very good use cases that are being implemented in other provinces. For example, in Cagayan province, they have a problem in how much our local farmers earn from the rice and the corn that they produce. So they are seeking our assistance to apply our smart agriculture system so that they can actually sell better directly from the farmers the palay and the corn that they have through a smart agriculture approach. So many ideas that I have presented here will lead to partnerships, and I hope that those partnerships will lead to technologies, enterprises, policies, and public services. Central Visayas can really demonstrate to many other regions how the journey that I mentioned should be implemented. With enterprises willing to innovate, researchers, napakarami pong university dito, researchers willing to respond, institutions willing to collaborate, and local governments willing to use evidence, and young people ready to create. We hope you can also visit the innovation hubs of the Department of Science and Technology, the DOST Central Visayas, led by RD Tristan Abando. Huwag niyo pong pansinin ang kanyang apelyido. He will not abandon you. He will be with you. He is ready to assist you. We also have a partnership with the Land Bank so that the MSMEs that we have worked with, especially like those in the setup or startup, once we have vetted your enterprise and you need more capital, we have signed recently a partnership with Land Bank for them to fund your investment. So ladies and gentlemen, we hope that you have seen our strategy, your strategy, to build the future that we all want for ourselves, for our children, and for our grandchildren, and as a public servant for our kababayans. We hope that these efforts will bring us closer to the Philippines that does not merely adjust to the future, but helps shape it. Kaya nga, let's be Ceburista. Lagi nating tatandaan pa, sa siyensya at teknolohiya, negosyo nyo ay tsak kikita. Sa siyensya at teknolohiya, makabagong solusyon ay nasa inyong kamay na. Sa siyensya at teknolohiya, komunidad ay mas magiging ligtas at handa na. At sa siyensya at teknolohiya, buhay nyo lahat ay gaganda. Pati rin mukha nyo ay gaganda. Hindi po dahil sa cosmetic surgery, kundi parati na kayong nakangiti. Kasi hindi na kayo na problema, ligtas kayo, meron kayong kita, magandang kalusugan, nakasmile kayo parati. Kaya kapag ganun po, ang aura nyo at ang mukha nyo ay gaganda. Kaya mga kababayan ko sa Central Visayas, maging Ceburista po tayo sa ating kinabukasan. Let's use science, technology, and innovation for our development. Maraming po salamat.
When people hear the word innovation, the first thing that usually comes to mind is technology. But for us in the city of Mandaue, innovation starts with a much simpler question. How can we serve our people better? That has always been at the heart of everything we do. Every city has a comprehensive development plan. It gives us our direction and our vision for the future. But a plan only has value if it makes a real difference in the daily lives of the people we serve. In a fast-growing city like Mandaue, that means making decisions based not on assumption, but on reliable data, careful planning, and evidence. That is why our partnership with DOST Central Visayas through the Smart and Sustainable Communities program has been so meaningful. It did not change where we wanted to go. It strengthened how we get there. Together, we developed the Smart Mandaue Roadmap, which serves as our guide in using science, technology, and innovation to help us achieve the goals we have already set for our city. One of its flagship initiatives is the Mandaue Digital Twin, a digital model of our city that allows us to view traffic, infrastructure, mobility, environmental conditions, and development projects through one integrated platform. It gives us better information, helps us anticipate challenges before they happen, and enable us to make a smarter decision while using public resources more responsibly. But let me emphasize one thing. Technology is not the goal. Better public services. Technology only becomes meaningful when it helps improve the lives of our constituents. That same belief is reflected in our One Mandaue RISE framework. R stands for results for citizens. I stands for innovation. S stands for service and trust. And E stands for organizational excellence. These are more than guiding principles. They remind us that every innovation should lead to better governance, more efficient service, and better outcome for every Mandauehanon. To our partners from DOST, daghan kayong salamat for believing in the capability of local governments to innovate. Your partnership has shown that when science, technology, and good governance work together, we create communities that are smarter, more resilient, and better prepared for the future. As One Mandaue, we will continue to embrace innovation, not because technology is the future, but because it allows us to serve our people better today and build an even better Mandaue for tomorrow. Daghang salamat ug manggulta.
Alright, makuna ano mga partners ang mga mensahe atong nadungog ganina no. Ang mensahe sa atong DOST Secretary Renato Solidum Jr. ang mensahe sab no ni Regional Director sa DOST Region 7 Dr. Tristan Abando ug ang mensahe pod ni Mayor Thadeo Jonkie Ouano mga partners no. Isip mayor no, particular diri sa Mandaue City og syempre naghatag mo siya pong mga plano pod no. Pag-usab kay kung smart city magud ang syudad bot pasabot no. Not necessary parehas sa smart city no sa abroad kay medyo level up naman ilang smart city. So karon kay nag-start pa man so basically adunay assistance ang ihatag ang Department of Science and Technology in terms of handling the transaction no sa ilahang finances no, bayad sa business permit no, i-plus na sa DOST mga partners kay adunay mga technology nga pagabuhaton. Of course soon siguro ang traffic, ang baha, uban pa mga problema. I think ang garbage pod no, gihisgutan po na mga partners. Anyway, hopefully no, kani mga mensahe nga dunugan nato nakahatag ni sa atong pagtulunan. Di man gyud nato masaysay tanan mga partners no kay kulang atong oras. Pero at least no, na-share na ako sa inyo mga partners ang mga mensahe sa atong mga ginapadungog diri sa ato ang programang Serbisyong Kapartner ng Bayan. Salamat kayo mga partners ug diri tapos sa atong programang Serbisyong Kapartner ng Bayan. Kinihigala ka partner Jimrey Biosa, kauban sa technical si Kapartner Philip Serna, si Ma'am Eileen o sa kinatibok ang management sa Sunshine Media Network International. Salamat kayo ug Diyos manalangin kanatong tanan.
Maukadto ang tulumanong Serbisyong Kapartner ng Bayan. Ubani kami ninyo sa sunod na higayon. Matag Lunes hangtod Biyernes sa susamang oras, alauna hangtod alas 2 hapon. Dinhi lamang sa DYAR 765 SMNI Radio Cebu.